My current foundation students might recognize that that was the song I played for your first class, and I told you the story. Not everybody knows this, but at the end of all our classes, you do a personal project. And when Dennis took his foundational class with me, this was his final project, this song. Now, when he gave it to us the first time, it was just a few simple chords on the piano, and it's developed into what it is now. And if you have a CD, you hear all kinds of chimes and other stuff that goes on in there. Yeah, I was over there going, chimes. So the song keeps evolving, and I just love it. I just love it. So I just thought, oh, my foundational students might be recognizing this because I use that for them. Just gives you an idea of what a project might be at the end of foundation class. I love it. The song says so much. It really captures the heart of this teaching. And I love that. And I love that song. All right. So Mary set you up with prosperity, the root, the Latin root, about going forward hopefully. Beautiful. I'm going to set you up with Ernest Holmes' definition so we understand what we mean by prosperity. So I have it up here. Prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. So substance is like stuff. Okay, this is Ernest Holmes' words. The outpicturing of the substance, the stuff in our lives. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. Right there, big concept. Life is ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes, belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. Ah, right? There's so many things in this we can, spend probably half an hour just talking about this. The universe is for us, nothing is against us. Start embracing that right now. Nothing and no one in this universe is against us, even though it may appear sometimes like individuals are. But we're talking about the big picture. In the big picture, nothing is against us. Life, another synonym for God, ever giving of itself. We must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. Receive, utilize, and extend. See, all three in one sentence. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes, not what the world tells us. They say the Lord's Prayer is a spiritual thing, but financial success is a material thing. We say not separate. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes. They had to come from that same spirit that everything comes from, belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. So that's where the rest of this talk goes. How do we as all people use these prosperity principles? So when we talk about prosperity, in addition to that, we are definitely talking about money, but not only money. We're talking about resources of every kind. We're talking about living on purpose. We're talking about living with hope, moving forward, moving with hope in our hearts. We're talking about joy. And my favorite, when I think about the word prosperity, my favorite meditation and my favorite contemplation is freedom. Freedom. What does it feel like to feel prosperous? It feels free. As opposed to when you're feeling lack and limitation, that doesn't feel so free, does it? It feels frightening. It feels limited. Prosperity to me, the resources to live a beautiful life, living my life on purpose, feels free, it feels expansive. Freedom. If we start to look at old teachings as well as new teachings, we see a common thread in this idea of prosperity. It doesn't really matter where it's coming from, but if we want a prosperous life, we must believe that that is God-given to begin with. And we must also practice these principles. We must be the ones using it. So we can go back to the Bible, and in Malachi, many of you have probably heard this, he says, bring all of your tithes into the storehouse so that it might be full, and prove me now that I won't pour out a blessing to all of you so much that you won't even be able to use it all. You've probably heard that. Keywords to me, prove me now. Okay, so if you're new here, we don't believe in like some guy up there who's going like, test, we don't believe that. We believe that these stories in the Bible were lessons for us to learn. Prove me now. So that this invisible presence called God within us is saying, prove it. Prove it for yourself. Bring all those tithes, bring everything, don't be afraid. And prove that I won't give you all this. Prove me now. Then we come a little more forward to Ernest Holmes. Not quite contemporary, but closer to contemporary. He lived in the late 1800s to 1960 when he died. He said, it is the nature of the universe. Universe is just another synonym for God. We have so many. It is the nature of the universe to give us what we are able to take. To give us what we are able to take. It cannot give us more. It is already given all. We have not yet accepted the gift. Isn't that the same thing as prove me now? We haven't accepted it. We haven't taken it. So when I say the word take, if you have a visceral, physical reaction to the word take, there's a clue for you that you might have some hidden baggage about that word. Weren't you taught not to be a taker? Yeah. Right? A lot of people are like, oh, don't be a taker. That's bad. No, but what we're saying is that the Spirit has already given it all to us. We must take it. Okay, here's an easier word, receive it. It means really the same thing. But it's not like it's going to fall in our lap. We gotta consciously and physically take it, accept it, receive it. So I hear in the Bible verse and I hear in the Ernest Holmes verse the same idea. It's already here. Prove it to me. Take it. Prove it to yourself. I mean, take it. Ernest Holmes also said that if one wishes to demonstrate prosperous living, that we must first have a consciousness of prosperity. A consciousness. Everything starts in our consciousness, which is our awareness, our thoughts, our beliefs, our embodiment of it. If we want to demonstrate it in our lives, we need to first begin in our consciousness. You know, we humans, we get so hung up on doing everything in the world of form. I said this to my foundational class recently. It's like we move our stuff around. We try to make it all better. Let me put this here. Let me move this over here. Let's see. No, still not satisfied. Let me put this over here. You know, we move our stuff around. We're dealing with, at that point, the realm of the effect, the little part of livingness. And all the while, if we were to sit still, get quiet, pray, meditate, and build our consciousness, the rest would start to fall into place. It all starts. When I'm in a funk, it's because I'm forgetting to go to the consciousness place first. When I'm feeling like complaining or irritated, it's like, oh yeah, sit down and remember who you are. I tell myself that. Listen, this is the whole thing, this whole teaching that I do, it is not a destination, it is a journey. You've heard it before, but it is a journey. There's not one of us who has it all figured out and never has to use the tools again. I tell myself, sit down, quit being in this funk. Remember, I did say F-U-N-K. Funk. And remember who you are, Sean. Remember what life is. Remember that it's already given. Okay, so if we want to demonstrate it in our lives, we've got to begin in our thoughts, in our consciousness, in our awareness of it. Ernest Holmes gets the closest to telling a story in this particular book. In this story I'm going to read you, more than anything else. Everything else is pretty much just like he's doing an essay. This is like a story. Or kind of like a story. Closest he gets. So this is under the chapter called Definite Plan. And I'm going to just read it to you. He says, okay, so we'll say that there are 4 men. I'm not going to change the gender here. I'm just going to let it be he this time, okay? We'll say there are 4 men, A, B, C, and D. A receives $15 a week. Tells you when he was writing. $15 a week? We don't even think that's good enough for an hour nowadays. Anyway, that's comical to me in itself. A receives 15 a week, B receives 50, C receives 75, and D receives 100. Now suppose that these 4 men are all without jobs, and each comes to a practitioner for a mental treatment, a spiritual treatment, to obtain employment. The practitioner takes the thought that there is nothing but divine activity. The practitioner heals any belief in inactivity and declares that each one of these men is divinely active, occupied, and compensated. Without question, the practitioner has set a law in motion, which will produce something for each of these 4 men. We will suppose that his treatment is a good one, an effective one. That each person, the 4 men, accept it, and consequently each finds a job. As a result, probably, A will receive $15 a week again, B 50, C 75, and D 100 per week. But, one might say, the practitioner spoke